Hello, friend of the League and engaged voter. I'm Jean Widener, the chair of the Speakers Bureau for the League of Women Voters of San Diego. And in this video, I'm going to speak about the pros and cons for a measure that's going to appear on San Diegan's ballot for the primary election on June 2nd. As you may already know, our organization, the League of Women Voters, was founded in 1920, the same year that women won the right to vote. We've been celebrating more than 100 years of promoting democracy. I want to emphasize that the League is a nonpartisan organization which never supports nor opposes political parties or candidates. However, we do take stands on issues that correspond to our organization's mission, which is to empower voters and to promote and protect democracy. Before I begin specifically talking about Measure A, I want to say a word about where we obtain the information we present when we speak about the pros and cons of propositions. We use publicly available information, such as the arguments that are found in the official information guide from the government. These do not represent the view of the League, and since many of them are based on opinion, please critically review these arguments and recognize that they may not always be based on facts. We also ask voters to pose the same questions that we do when evaluating measures. First of all, how did it arrive on the ballot? And how will it change existing law? And especially, who benefits? One of the best indicators of that last question can be found by determining who is paying to support or oppose it and how much they are paying to do so. So let's begin talking about Measure A. Measure A is a local ballot measure that will appear on the ballot for the primary election for residents of San Diego. It is known as the non-primary homes tax, and it was placed on the ballot by the City Council of San Diego. Its purpose is twofold: to return empty homes to the market, thus increasing the available number of homes in the city, and alternatively, to generate a new source of revenue for the general fund. It will pass if it is proved by a simple majority of qualified voters. And the amendments would take place after the results of the election are certified by the City Council. And if adopted, collection of the tax is expected to begin on January 1st, 2027. So Measure A was proposed by City Council member Sean Elo Rivera, and it was placed on the ballot by the City Council in an 8-to-1 vote. The proposal came after the city was forced to cut services from its budget due to a long-standing trend of costs rising faster than revenues. The revenue generated by the measure will be part of the city's general fund, which can be used for general city services such as housing and infrastructure projects. It is estimated that there are more than 5,000 properties potentially eligible for this tax, which means that less than 10% of San Diego residents would be subject to it. In addition, the 4 cities that are mentioned on the slide, there actually is a vacancy tax being proposed for New York City, and additionally, several international cities also have them. So what would this measure do? The tax would apply only to homes that are vacant for more than half of a calendar year. It would be first collected on January 1st, 2027. It would be a flat rate of $8,000 for each vacant home that year. And in 2028, the tax would be increased to a flat rate of $10,000. After that time, the rate would go up according to the consumer price index or inflation. Additionally, homes that are owned by a corporation would be subject to an additional $4,000 charge in 2027, which would increase to $5,000 in 2028. At that time, those homes would be taxed to the rate of $15,000 per year. And again, these rates will also increase in subsequent years based on the consumer price index. There are a number of exemptions to the measure. For example, properties with 4 or fewer units where the owner occupies one of them for most of the year, properties that have become uninhabitable due to a natural disaster or catastrophic event, and that would be up to 2 years after the event, properties that are newly constructed and are actively marketed for sale or rent, also up to 2 years, and properties that are vacant because the owner has died, moved into a care facility, or has been deployed or relocated due to military service. The fiscal analysis from the city auditor indicates an estimated revenue of somewhere between $9.2 and $21.4 million in the first year, with an increase of that amount in the second. The new revenue range varies because of assumptions about the number of taxable vacant properties. Based on currently available data, it's estimated there are 5,140 properties potentially eligible for this tax. A notable share of these properties, however, between 45 to 70%, are assumed to be excluded from the tax in the first year due to the exemptions or due to the properties becoming occupied. Should more properties be exempted, revenue would likely fall below the estimated range. Additionally, should this measure have the intended effect of reducing the number of vacant properties as more properties are occupied, the tax revenue from this measure in future years will also decline. Just for comparison with the money that this measure will generate, the total budget for the city of San Diego this year is $6.1 billion. On this slide, there are listed the names of some of the supporters of Measure A, including council members Sean Elo Rivera, who introduced it, as well as the San Diego Housing Federation and the others there that are listed. The supporters make the following arguments to encourage voters to vote yes on the measure. First of all, it protects everyday homeowners. Also, 99% of San Diego residents will be paying nothing. All primary residents, as well as long-term rentals, are exempt. And hardship protections will cover other exemptions, such as military deployment, death of an owner, medical emergencies, and more. It will also generate needed income for the city, which will be responsibly accounted for. The measure here, as you can see, is being opposed by several organizations that are listed on the slide. Arguments against the measure include that the money is not earmarked for housing, but goes to the general fund. Local taxes are already high. It will cost money to administer this measure, and there may be litigation expenses if challenged. One of the issues about San Francisco's tax was that more than a year ago, it was declared unconstitutional. However, the ruling is being appealed. This slide shows the reported campaign contributions to date. As you can see, significantly more money is being spent to oppose the measure, primarily from the real estate industry. So bottom line, if you vote yes on Measure A, you are supporting levying an additional tax on properties that are vacant for more than half the year. If you vote no, you oppose this additional tax on these properties. Thank you for your attention and interest in learning more about Measure A. Our purpose in making this video is to provide an overview of this measure, but if you would like additional information to guide your decision, here are some trusted sources with additional information also about the primary election. Political parties also take positions on many measures, as do other organizations, including newspapers, so they can be a source of information as well. So we recommend that you do further research as you make your voting choice on this measure and on other decisions on your ballot. In addition, here are the dates to keep in mind regarding the June election. Make sure your registration is up to date by consulting the database from the Secretary of State of California. You can go directly to the website at voter status, or you can use the QR code listed on the slide to access your registration status. You will be receiving your ballot in the mail, and you have several voting options available for you to submit it. You can mail it at any mailbox or post office. You can drop it in an official drop box, or you can vote in person beginning May 23rd. Go to the Registrar of Voters website at sdvote.com to find the vote center closest to you. You are allowed to vote in any vote center throughout the county. And finally, if you appreciated the information in this video and would like to support our work educating voters, please consider a donation of any size to our league. Thank you for being an informed voter.